I have gone through our team and tactics with a fine-tooth comb. I am partially suited up, and I'm about as ready as I can be for our trip to Wembley. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 43 of One Team, One Dream, Into the Woods. My name is James, and on today's episode we have the League 2 playoff final as we head to Wembley to face Grimsby. Now, I said in the last episode we were taking the most difficult road to get to promotion if we want to get into League 1. It started with the Cambridge game, which was difficult enough as it was, but now facing Grimsby in the final, who we have lost the last 4 meetings to. And being the fact we've had 2 previous attempts at the playoffs, one in National League and one in League 2. This is our first playoff final, and I really want to try and avoid, if I can, a 3rd stint in League 2. But I don't want to put it off anymore. Let's get into the playoff final. My assistant manager is actually saying we should go into this with a positive mentality. I'm not sure whether that's the right thing to do or not, but we'll give it a try anyway. I trust him. So for this match, I have gone through with a fine-tooth comb our analytics, our history, all the bits and pieces of our tactic and stuff. And this seems to be the best option for us in this game. We're going with a 4-4-2 diamond or 4-3-3, depending on how you look at it, with a direct counter-attack. And now, thanks to my assistant manager, a positive mentality. A couple of bits of team news. We have Tricker on the bench. He's not fully fit yet, but worst case scenario is if we are losing at halftime, I might bring him on anyway just for the second half. We do have McDonnell and Yeats back on the bench as well, but they are both not fully fit, so I won't be starting either of them in this game. And if I'm honest, Yeats is definitely a super sub, and so I'd rather bring him on in the second half if we're chasing a goal. But hopefully we won't need him today, and Fagan and Crossdale are going to do what they've done so many times this season, especially Crossdale, who is now on, I think, 32 or 33 goals for the season. And hopefully he'll get a couple more in this game just to boost his goal tally that little bit further. And here we are in what looks a very sporadically filled Wembley. And we have our first highlight at Wembley on 20 minutes. Devine with a 1-2 after the throw-in. Now to Adebayi. Back to Rossiter. Thompson, that was a bit of an iffy pass from Rossiter there. Thompson almost lost control of the ball. Luckily, there was no Grimsby player near him. We are playing with fire around here at the moment by keep passing it back to our centre-backs. Mundell to Rossiter. Out wide to Alabiosu. Big chip forward to Taylor Crossdale. Goes past his man. He's in the penalty area. Unfortunately, he gets chased down by the Grimsby defence. And rather than trying to cross it in, decides to try and go for the shot, and it goes wide of the post. And we have a throw in with Alabiosu to Rossiter to Kirk. Another chip forward. Unfortunately, Grimsby players are the only players we can find at this point, and they're now coming forward with Finney on the left-hand side, looking for their first opportunity. Adebayi chips the ball forward to Robson. Now finds Taylor Crossdale. Can we counter-attack here? Tries to find Fagan, but there's 4 defenders back for Grimsby. There was no way they were going to be able to find Fagan when he's up by himself. And now Spyro's coming in. That was a wayward tackle, but I'm not sure who that was. But into the centre. Grimsby have the first major opportunity on a highlight. Luckily, they don't take it. Alabiosu has picked up a knock. It says that you should better play through it. We'll review that at half-time and see how he gets on. 0-0, as was the first half of the first leg in the semi-final. Very tentative. We've had 6 shots, though, and only 1 of them on target, which is very disappointing. We have, though, limited Grimsby to not a single shot on target so far in this match. I'm going to point the finger and say, we can still win this. Keep working hard, and it will come. Let's have a little look. Alabiosu is struggling. He's hampered by his injury, so we'll bring on Riddy. I'm not going to change anything too radically other than that. The forced injury is about as far as I'm going to go when it comes to half-time substitutions. Right, we have 64 minutes on the clock now. I think it's time to make some more substitutions. Taylor Crossdale is having another poor game. I'm disappointed in it with his performance so far in the back end of this season and in the playoffs. So I'm going to bring on Yeats. We're going to swap Fagan over to the poacher and have Yeats as the advance forward as he prefers. Kirk is also looking nervous and is on 6.4, so I'm going to bring Tricker on for the final substitution, and hopefully the rest of the boys will be able to see out this match and hopefully get us the win that we are looking for. I'm going to encourage the players, try and give them a little bit of a boost, but with 15 minutes left to play, we've not had a single shot on target other than the one we had in the first half, and it's gone to extra time. That was a very quiet second half. So let's go back into the dressing room I'm going to thrash my arms. I am far from pleased with what I've seen from this team. Go out there and grab the goal that we need. Can we make another substitution now we're in extra time? So I want to take off Adebayo because he's having a terrible game. We can. We'll bring on McDonald for him in that Carolera role. Maybe drop actually McDonald back and push Rossiter forward. So Rossiter can now play that Carolera role and McDonald can drop back into the defensive midfield role. Right, we are in the second half of extra time and we finally have a highlight. We have a throw-in on the right-hand side. Reddy receives the ball back into the centre. Fagan scores! And with less than 15 minutes left in the playoff final of League Two, Fagan steps up with a towering header in the penalty area. Lovely little passing play around here. Mundell passed it into Robson, out to Reddy, who's in loads of space, picked his spot. What a cross from the 17-year-old who has come in with all the pressure on his shoulders, and Fagan, who has really been the third string striker in this squad this season, is the man who is who's put us ahead in this final in extra time. But Grimsby are now coming forward with only 3 minutes left to play in extra time. We cannot throw it away now. Clifton's running into the penalty area. Thompson manages to clear it, but it goes as far as Watson. Grimsby are going to be trying everything they can now to try and get an equalising goal. Thompson manages to clear it yet again. Fagan has the ball. Can we counter-attack? Fagan's gone past his man. He's in the penalty area. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he can't get it past the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it 2-0. 2-0, I think, would have been enough. I am going to drop back to a balanced mentality, though, because I really don't want to be pushing this game any further than we have to. Clampin still has the ball after the tackle, whipped into the centre. Thompson clears it yet again. That's 3 or 4 clearances from Thompson in this one highlight alone. Ball is back out wide. Grimsby are still pressing into the centre. Was that a penalty? Have we given away? Oh, it's a free kick. I had a heart attack then because I thought we'd given away a penalty, but time is ticking down. And that is it. It is full time. And after extra time, Ricky Fagan steals one for Boreham Wood. Only the third shot we'd had on target in the entire game. And we go up as playoff winners into League One. Outstretched arms. A fantastic victory, guys. Well done. Absolutely amazing. Come on! And here is the confirmation. Boreham Wood celebrate final day promotion. Boreham Wood promoted to Sky Bet League One. Absolutely fantastic. What have we got ourselves into, though, I have to say. Definitely going to need a revamp of the tactics and everything else next season. Right, let's have a look through the news articles. So Boreham Wood celebrate final day promotion. Boreham Wood have been promoted. Our board budgets for next season, 50k transfer budget and a 36k wage budget. I don't think we were anywhere near spending our wage budget this season. We won't. No, we've got 9 grand to spend on wages. We could even pump that into and get, almost £500,000 worth of transfer budget as well. So that is enough to, at the very least, try and plug some of the gaps. I'd like to keep the base structure of the team for next season. I don't want to change things too much. Fans of Boreham Wood are overjoyed. Robson is happy. That was a little bit of a risk. I guaranteed him we'd get promotion, and he is happy that I fulfilled that promise. And the board are delighted that we have gained promotion to League One 1 year ahead of schedule. One thing a Football Manager always try and do is try and stay one stage ahead of what is required each season. Because once the pressure is on to try and get that playoff spot or get that promotion, as we found this season, you start to run the risk of the board threatening to sack you. Right, so we have paid out 240k to the players and staff for finishing 5th. We've also received £482,000 for participating in League Two. That has taken, that's taken a massive chunk out of our debt. We're still 400 grand in debt. And being that we were over £1 million in debt not a couple of weeks ago, that is definitely a massive turnaround in fortunes. And here we have the season review. What a season this has been. I am so glad we got this to prompt because I have no idea where to even start with this. But we are going to start now with the transfers. The majority of these are with players that didn't necessarily make it into starting 11, were either on loan or were fringe players at the club. But if we sort by appearances, excluding Pixabay and Jones, who were out on loan, we've got Alex Kirk, 52 appearances, 1 assist, We did knock heads near the end of the season with a couple of his poor performances, including, I think it was half a week's fine. But he has definitely been one of the most consistent players in the squad. He's not been injured, I don't think, all season. And he scored a penalty in the playoff semi-final, which sent us into the final. And so from my side of things, all is forgiven. But I think what is probably going to be surely signing of the season, he gets an A- from the board. John Yeats. Got him from St Mirren for 125k, 29 appearances, 22 goals, 6 assists and a 7.13. What this guy could have done if he hadn't been injured. Unfortunately, it will now be left to the imagination, but he's still only 19 years old. He will definitely be in the first team squad next season, and so I'm hoping he can carry some of that across, and his injury hasn't done too much damage. Other players we've seen around the squad, Boyce Hosanna and Alibiosu, both playing at right back. They have been sort of interchangeable this season, with Andy and with Grant Thomas specifically taking over from Tricker in the back half of the season when he was injured, and also through the playoffs as well. So moving on to the season's results, obviously our success is going to be defined by our performance in League Two. What a roller coaster of a season it was. If we just scroll down here, we started off particularly well. We then went on a nice run of games, started to lose a few, and this area here around November, December, this was when my job was at risk, to the point where I was given 5 games to try and turn it around, and in the next 5 games we managed enough wins to be able to keep my job, and we never looked back. Went on a bit more of an unbeaten run, had a couple of smatterings of losses in there, struggled near the end of the season, but managed to keep into the playoffs. We won the games that counted, the second leg of the semi-final, and we won in the final as well. So we achieved the minimum, which was to reach the playoffs. We finished 5th. Home attendances have been a little bit disappointing this season, only 33%. We are still a fairly small club at this level, but hopefully that will increase as we go up to the 3rd tier. Martel, Taylor Crossdale, even with his injury mid-season, still managed 27 goals. Very exciting for in terms of our strikers going into next season. The board have given me a B- for the season. A little bit disappointed with the fact we managed to actually get promotion, only got a B-, but maybe that's reflective of my performance mid-season. In the FA Cup, sadly we went out in the first round. We didn't manage to meet the second round requirements, so the board given me a C- for that. Same in the Carabao Cup, went out in the first round to Brentford. This one maybe a little more understandable, Championship Brentford, so we were given a C for that. And in the league trophy, we expected to reach the second round, got all the way through to the semi-final, one step away from another trip to Wembley, which would have been nice this season. Taylor Crossdale again getting most goals with 5, and the board were delighted giving me another B-. Going into the finances, so as I mentioned, we're still a fairly low club, no change in reputation, still 2-star. Broadcast revenue was slightly down this year compared with the previous year, but only just. That will obviously go up as we go up into League One as well. Everything else financially is on the up. And our top shirt sales, of course, it was Taylor Crossdale, Fagan, Andy, Adebayo and Robson. Shame not to see Yeats on there as well, but he's got many years ahead of him to try and get onto this list. If we can try and get 3 strikers on this top shirt sales next season, I think we will be doing a good job, and hopefully that will go a long way to helping us survive if we're getting that many goals. So the best 11 for the season is the 4-4-2 diamond, which was reused in the back end of the season and in the playoffs. So we had Huddart in goal, back four, Devine, Tricker, Kirk and Hosanna, Rossiter, Adebayo, Mundo and Robson in the diamond, Yeats and Taylor Crossdale up front. That starting 11 essentially started to write itself. However, disappointing the slightly low ratings across the board, bar Huddart, Devine, Taylor Crossdale and Yeats, who I would say were probably 4 of our best players this season. Hopefully, if we have a little bit of a reshuffle of the formation going into next season, we might be able to try and get a little more consistency and some higher ratings out of some of these players. In terms of club awards, Taylor Crossdale, Fans Player of the Season and Young Player of the Season. That is one thing I would say, looking actually at the averages for the league. One thing I was looking at before the playoffs. We have an average age in the squad of 22. We were one of the youngest teams in League Two, and so it makes our achievements of getting promoted all the more special. Signing the season was Will Reddy. That hopefully means he's a promising youngster and the board see potential in him, because I wouldn't necessarily say he was the best player we had this season. When you have Leeds on the same transfer list as him. Goal of the season was Adebayo. Top goal scorer we know already was Martel Taylor-Crossdale. Most assists was Mundell with 11. Very understated season from him. Most player of the match awards again was Taylor-Crossdale, along with the highest average rating, and most passes completed per 90 minutes was Adam McDonnell. A little bit disappointing he didn't put in the performances, which meant he could be a little bit more of a regular starter this season, and I think the step up to League One might be a little bit of a struggle for him. But it's definitely something we can review in the summer. And in terms of competition awards, Martel Taylor-Crossdale won League Two Player of the Year and Sky Bet League 2 top scorer as well. What a year for Taylor-Crossdale. That's 2 years in a row now that man has been absolutely fantastic. And Mundell breaks the club record for most assists by a player in a season. So back in the inbox, we now have players who have been inducted into the Boreham overall Best 11 squad. Max Robson's been the pick of the two players. Alex Kirk has also been selected to be included. So the best overall 11 is now Huddart in goal, a back four Devine, Fifield, Tricker and Charles, Mundell and McDonnell in central midfield, Robson and Thomas are the wide men, with Colehurst and Taylor-Crossdale, two of the best strikers I think this team has seen for many years. Now if we start at the back, Fifield, where is Fifield now? Fifield is unemployed and is a coach. Let's put him on the short list. I might see if we can try and bring him back into the fold. Tricker and Charles. Charles is in the Cardiff under-23s. I might get a new scout report on him and see what he is about. See if it might be worth seeing if we can try and bring him maybe even on loan for the season. Mundell, McDonnell, as I said, in midfield. Robson, Thomas out wide. Sorba Thomas, who disappointingly forced his way out of the club, off to Barnsley for 400k. Never really played. Ended up going to Lincoln this season for 86k. Again, never really played. Maybe we give him another scout as well and see whether he is worth bringing back in. And Shaq Colehurst, a player who, again, we outgrew and has not yet found a club. So he is still sat on the free transfer market. In terms of substitutes, Nathan Ashmore is now retired and is now looking for a management position. Kirk, Adebayo, Lewis and Fagan all still in the squad. Francis Angol is currently at Woking, where he seems to be playing semi-regularly there for them. And finally, Kabongo Shumanga, the man that when he left us to go to Charlton, I thought it was going to rip the heart out of this squad and we were going to really, really struggle, as his goals were instrumental in our first season in getting us off the ground with 29 goals in 35 appearances with 7 assists as well. Maybe it's worth giving him a little bit of a scout as well. He's currently still at Plymouth. Might be able to see if we can maybe pick him up. But in terms of strikers, I think we are probably settled for next season. Club vision and expectations. So this is going to be interesting. So the board want us to play defensively solid football, possession football, entertaining and high tempo. Not 100% sure how all those go together, but I'll see if I can try and find a tactic that fits that. In terms of the 5-year plan, that's the same. Work within the wage budget and sign players for a profit. And next season they want us to fight bravely for relegation. That is something I really, really like to see. Fighting bravely for relegation means I could get relegated and more than likely I'm not going to get sacked. But based on this season, can't make any promises, and they want us to continue repair the club's financial damage, which hopefully boosting up into League One, maybe with a boost of ticket sales as well, might be able to do that, especially with season tickets selling over the summer. I'm happy with that. I'm going to accept that vision. And in terms of the squad dynamics, so we have Huddart, McDonnell and Tricker as the team leaders. Huddart contract actually expires in the summer, so I'll definitely be reviewing him to see whether we want to keep him for next season or whether we want to bring somebody else in. McDonnell again is going to be up for questions. I could create a bit of a power vacuum in the team leader spot. Tricker is definitely going to be here for next season, but hopefully someone like Taylor-Crossdale, Fagan, Kirk or Devine might maybe jump up. We've got a few players down here who I think really could jump up into that team leader spot and fill the void. And then down influential players, Daly, Hosanna, Andy and Rossiter, really fringe players. And to be interested to see if any of those are still here next season. So looking at the team report, and this is where I'm going to begin my foray into the transfer window. So bar one or two, such as Tricker or Mundell, we have at least 3-star plus consistently across the board. That will drop once we get up into League One. And I think this is something that we've struggled this season with as well. Definitely playing above our level when it comes to the quality of players we have at the squad. So I think trying to bring in a few more higher quality players is definitely going to be the priority, rather than just bringing in a bunch of free transfers. And according to the report, we have a mediocre squad standard compared to the rest of the league. Again, shows how much we really have overachieved this season by getting promoted into League One. We have players in the Sky Bet League 2 team of the season. We have Huddart, Mundell and Taylor Crossdale, which nicely rounds off the season review. So a roller coaster of a season ends with promotion to League One. Next episode is going to be the transfer review and our first match in League One. And if you're excited for our trip into a brand new league, please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of all episodes as we venture on into the third tier of English football. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.